90-footer. Here he goes. Deegan going down hard.
Winter X Games was an idea that came about from really the beginning when X Games started. I think it was about 2000 is when they decided to go to the ice, and it was in Vermont.
When people said they were gonna ride dirt bikes on the snow, I just laughed at them, and it sounded like the worst thing ever to me.
I just remember them building a huge ice jump.
It was always right around 100 to 110 feet, which was considerably bigger than the Summer X Games, so.
When we went out, it was like me and Mike Jones, Clifford Adamte, like kind of the original guys, and everyone was kind of scared to hit it first because we thought you were just gonna sink when you land and crash. And we had tires. No one really knew what to do, so we just had tires with studs in them.
I think they're called cold cutter screws that they were screwing in their tires.
We would show up and they're like icing it down, and the craziest thing, we're putting like screws in our knobbies and tires, and you're thinking, what are we doing?
Which made it sketchy, because if you like decked it or, you know, cased that thing out, you had a good risk for pinch flats. Your bike in general just ran like 250 two-stroke Honda, felt like a vacuum cleaner.
You know how it is, you get up here, there's no air, so your bike's underpowered. So then you're like coming up, ice tires. And our jump was literally an ice cube. It was frozen. It wasn't even snow, it was like frozen snow. And then you roll and had to flip a bike with underpower, so it felt good when you made it through and you were one piece, you know?
Everyone gets into that same mind frame at the same time. It's a pretty awesome feeling thinking back.
It was a crazy event. Some of the craziest memorable experiences, just being different and fish out of water style, riding bikes in the snow for sure.
It was gnarly, and that was like right what it needed for freestyle, because freestyle was known as a gnarly sport, and these guys were sending it. But it kind of got to a point where we're not complete dummies. We knew that it was getting too dangerous for what the crowd or the fans kind of wanted.
On Winter X, you had a lot of different elements. You have a live TV window, and then it just starts dumping snow, and there's nothing you can do about it. They just go. And so I went for the 360 over this jump that really was just too big and mellow. And I remember taking off, trying to get the rotation, and I was way high, and I just wasn't rotating. And I thought I was gonna hit the landing and slide, and I went too far, and I went to flats on the ice. And I just remember getting to my hands and like bouncing, like hitting the ice and bouncing off the ground and shattering my hip, femur, wrist, and the bike went flipping. And I just remember laying there and like super busted. I tried to get up, my arms were all busted. I couldn't get up, and the sled came like, and they strapped me on the sled and like slid me down the hill. And I just remember my bones were like clicking, and it was a lot of carnage for sure. That was one of the gnarly ones for sure. And then I remember it took me a year to get back, and I ended up coming back the next year, and that was 05.
We saw earlier Brian Deegan try something new. We don't know what it was at this point. All we know is he has ice on his neck and a sprained right ankle. He will be back for competition, and I can guarantee it's gonna be a good one.
Right at the final, I just had a flip combo, like a flip whip, like combo deal. And I remember I did it in practice, and the wind caught me, and I over-rotated it and crashed pretty hard right before the final. And I remember hitting my head real bad, and my bike like totally bent up. And I remember going back to the tent, and me and my dad were working on my bike, and I got out the bars, the subframe, I fixed everything on it, went right out to the final. And I remember I just had to do that trick once, and I went through the big rut, and it was all choppy, and I ended up pulling off the trick and landing it, and got a good enough score to win. And it was cool, because at the end of the day, to come back there and win at that event that the year before I just got destroyed. So it was that was a cool memory, like a good comeback for sure, like something I'll probably never forget.
And it's 19-year-old Jackson Strong from Australia. Yes! First time ever in any competition anywhere that the front flip has been set down.
If you're gonna go ride a dirt bike in the snow, I almost feel like you'd be better off on a snow bike or a snowmobile. I know Jackson gave it a run there at snowmobile freestyle for Winter X Games a few years back. I thought he was actually gonna win the event. It was so close. If he would've just landed the trick, he would've won, which would've been crazy because he was so out of his element. I mean, that would've been like a snowmobile guy going to Summer X on dirt bikes and pulling a trick off and winning. You know, now it makes more sense Now they built tracks for these dirt bikes and you can do snow bikes. I think Jackson will figure it out, you know? I think he'll figure out how to do tricks on it and do flips and stuff.
I think freestyle is for sure going to be a possibility on this thing. Like once we can get it in the air, freestyle is possible. So time to bolt this thing up and get back out on the snow and see what we can do. We had a 10-hour drive from California up to Salt Lake, and it started dumping snow like 3/4 of the way, so it took us like 15 hours all up to get here. It was gnarly, and then we were within 100 meters from the house we were staying, and I lost it around the corner. Boom, trailer, ramp, snowmobile, 2 bikes, timber sleds, all in the ditch, and we had to wait until just leave everything into the morning to be able to pull it out. So crazy. Stuck, mate. 2-wheel drive van, not good. Whew, it's a big change from Lockhart, Australia in summer.
We're just getting to Ethan Roberts' house in Salt Lake City. Ethan's one of those guys that's good at every single sport he does, so hopefully he'll be able to show us around the place and help us try and develop these things for freestyle motocross.
This jacket's made for riding, so it's split at the front and back so you can sit still and it covers your legs.
Yeah, that's meant for riding horses.
Going up the mountain first day on the timber sled, so got them together late last night. Hopefully they work good. Don't know what this location's gonna be like. Maybe we can set the ramp up there and try start working on the freestyle stuff straight away, but we'll see. It's minus 15 degrees today, 15 degrees Celsius, so it's like so cold. It's the coldest day I've got today, for sure.
Looks like we've got to go in here. Here's the tail. Here's the feet. Not unusual to see these things out here this time of year.
We're out here today at Spencer's property, the Flying Iron Horse Ranch. This is probably one of the sickest motocross tracks I've ever seen, and it's covered in snow. So I think it's going to be a snow bike heaven, pretty much, paradise. Just went for the first rip on the timber sled. The thing feels pretty sick. It's come like a fair way since I first rode the snow bike, so it's pretty good to see how they handle. The only thing for freestyle, I think we're really going to struggle with the track, you know, because it's so long. So I think we're going to have to figure out a way to get in someone's shed and try and cut it down and join the belt or do something. I don't even know how we're going to do that. That's going to be a mission. But today we'll just get out there and try and get used to losing the wheels. We rode the wheels off this thing.
I hit that table before, back wheel tapped it, feet came off, and I was in the air just like this, looking like Mad Mike Jones from '96 in the air. Classic. Well done, Mr. Jackson.
Well done, Mr. Ethernet cable. I don't care what anyone says, it was the most fun I've ever had with my pants on.
And that's saying something.
And that's saying something.
No, it's cool. It's so good to have you guys up here, so.
Thanks for having us, Cole.
Oh, you betcha.
You can see how all the water flowed down in the air, so I'm trying to bring the landing back this way a little bit.
Yep. Property owner Steve Lusak has absolutely killed it this morning in the dozer, and we've got sort of a landing built, and we're just waiting for the thing to get covered in snow, and then we can get the bikes out and start sending it and see what these timber sleds can do. Now that's professional. Whew. So today we came to Ethan's uncle's shop this morning, and we're going to take the ramp extension that we put on for the timber sled. I probably got a little bit excited when we first built that one, so we're going to knock a little bit off it.
It almost looks like you know what you're doing, though. That's the scary thing.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it?
Alright, have you welded before? You MIG before?
So you just put the wire thingy down, push the trigger.
Press go and you're good.
Bob's your uncle.
Got it, Ethan! The wheel's on there because we're worried going up the ramp, the front ski's gonna stick on the ramp. Suspension's gonna bottom out and we'll go over the handlebars, I think. So we decided to get sick with it and put a little wheel in there. Man invented the wheel.
Ready to do some work today, pal?
Yep.
You losing screws?
Not as many as you. So we just got to the jumps this morning. We got the ramp mod done and we got a wheel on the front ski. So me and
Today's the day. That's what I'm trying to say right now.
Today's D-Day. This is the day that me and Ethan are gonna test it on the ramp, and we're just hoping that the ski slides up here and the carbides don't hook up and it works. So stay tuned, stay tuned.
Some things not like the others. Sweet thing never had a lover, but you confuse the other people walking as you go. Yeah. First time, everyone's a winner. 2 times, gotta be a sinner, don't you? Look like all...
Steve ran over it with us, D51, and the fluffer back up, so hopefully that's what we needed to stop skidding the front end out.
And I can't deny, you're gonna set me free, gonna make me sing, and I'm not alone, not on my own, had to let it go, so we can take it slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I want to give it a go. Yep, I thought you might. You're not one to watch.
Sincere, never sang maybe. Sweet dear, always acting crazy for the pretty ways that always keep them talking when you're gone. Once more, something needs a routine. And again, we'll try to stop the beating of our crazy ways that always seem to follow as we go. Yeah, I feel so alive, and I can't deny.
Look at that. He landed on his seat, kicked it. That's a style point right there. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Tip of the top. If I was judging, which I will be the judge, I'm sure, one day.
So we can take it slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Dude, we're professional.
You can land pretty sideways on this and still ride out.
Yeah, I noticed.
All right, that's a wrap. Thanks very much for having us, Luzax, and cheers, Steve.
Anytime, Jackson.
Ethan.
Cheers, Spence.
Always a pleasure, boys.
You have fun on tour, Ethan.
Yeah, good
And
luck out there.
I'll fly the timber sled flag for us out there in the big smoke.
Just got back to wet and rainy Southern California. We made the 10-hour mission of a drive back with a ramp and trailer before Aspen. I think we're 3 days out now, and rather than sit around in Salt Lake for 3 days, I figured we may as well come back here and try and get some jumps in the foam pit and see if this thing will flip before we go to X Games. We just had the most rain that I've ever seen happen in Southern California by a long way. Trying to move some ramps around Fitzpatrick's foam pit. Put this ramp back in and see if we can make the timber sled go upside down.
Eventually, we're gonna make this happen. I'm not gonna stop here. We've come this far and we've pushed freestyle so far on this machine that we've got to get it upside down.
Not good at all. Long track, just didn't spin around one bit. Back to the drawing board, let's go. Aspen put on a freestyle show for them, and then let's try a test with a shorter track and get the ideal setup for timber sled freestyle.
Standing at the back, I've been watching your attack, and it's gentle as the falling leaves. Running with you.
Just arrived at Aspen X Games. The weather is pristine. This place is just like I remember it, and I think it's probably the best ski resort in the world. So just stoked to be here, and we've got the timber sled racing tomorrow, I think, and then wait until Sunday till we can get the ramp set up and start sending that thing.
We got this motorcycle that's converted into basically like a snowmobile, and you gotta ride it like a snow bike, but there's a lot of motorcycle characteristics that come along with it. So it's finding that balance, I think, is the kind of key ingredient. There's a lot of characteristics going from a dirt bike to this that you use, and there's also things that are completely opposite. You know, you have this massive track pushing you compared to a knobby, this ski that just pretty much grips a hold of anything.
It is different. It is a dirt bike, but you do have to learn how to ride them a little bit.
It's pretty cool to see how well they're working for racing as well as freestyle. So in the future, these things are going to be huge. Stoked, just got a few jumps in here at Aspen and ready to put on a bit of a show and show the world that freestyle is going to be possible on snow bikes in 2018. Woo! Just got done here with the demo on the timber sled at Aspen X Games. Went pretty well. I think that we showed the world that next year we should definitely have a freestyle motocross contest on these things.
Doing the snow bike timber sled freestyle demo with Jackson Strong really opened some eyes to how the bikes can be back involved in a manner in which the bikes with these timber sled track and ski kits are meant for. So it's a whole new sport. We saw the snow bike cross and how exciting that was. What's a natural transition? Freestyle snow bikes. Amazing.
Just got back to Deegan's house after Aspen X Games. If we're gonna have any shot of trying to get these machines in X Games next year, we're going to have to be able to flip them. I don't even know if that's possible yet, but I guess a good starting point is to pretty much try and chop it in half.
I got to thank the mountain immensely for their hospitality. Overnight, Scotty and the boys in the snowcat pushed up a massive landing, and we've got the shortened track that we've been building in Deegan's shop for the last couple of weeks. So it's D-Day. It's what I've been waiting for. Time to get out there and start pulling back. Overall, the new timber sled design worked really well, and we stomped a flip and showed that this event's ready for Aspen X Games in 2018, so I'm stoked. Really looking forward to developing the track a little bit more and getting out there and having some more fun in the snow.